Aloha ukulele class. Today is the first instructional video, and today we're going to learn how to read tablature, which is also referred to as tab or tabs, but that's short for this bigger word called tablature. So if you go on Google Classroom and look at your course materials, first of all, what I would do, what I recommend and also ask you to do is to print these out, because it's better to have your music in front of you so that you can see the whole thing, you can see multiple pages at once, and print them out and put them in a binder so that you can flip through them on your music stand or however you're, viewing the music. Music stand is like the best way, because you don't have to lean over and look down like if you have your music on the coffee table. And also it's good because you can also put one page on the left and one page on the right. When we have bigger charts, you can see both pages at once. So the problem with looking at music on, the phone would be too small to see. The iPad or the computer screen, the problem is if you view the whole page, then it's too small. And if you zoom in, then you have to stop playing in order to scroll the music, and that's no good. You want the music to be continuous without being interfered with by stopping and scrolling on the iPad or on the computer screen. So get hard copies of these things. So you have a lot of course materials for the first week, and I would just print them out so that you can find them easily and not have to scroll around on the computer screen. You can watch your lessons videos and have your course materials right there in front of you. So we've got what's in the first week course, or week 2 course materials rather, and also we have a recital list, and I may add things on as we go, but the list of songs for the recital, there's a lot of options, so I may not add anything. And if you look at those, what you'll notice is that they're all tablature music charts. So the first thing we're going to learn how to do today is how to read tab, and it's incredibly useful. It helps us to get to where we can start playing songs right away, and you'll discover how beneficial and useful it is to be able to do that as we continue through the course this semester. All right. The recital is the final for this class, and you have to play 2 of the songs in the recital list. If you want to play something other than what's in that list, then you have to email me the music, and I can let you know whether you can play it or not. So a lot of times people email me something and it's just too simple. There's not enough music material in there. We want to have like a solo ukulele chart that has harmony and melody and something that's a little bit more complicated than just strumming chords or something that's too repetitive. Okay, but some students in the past have come up with charts that meet all of those criteria, something that they want to do other than what's on that list. So you can email me and email me the music and get my approval. Otherwise, just pick something from the list. The sooner you can start working on those, the more prepared you'll be at the end of the semester. You shouldn't wait until like the last week before the recital to start working on a new song. And there's kind of a mixture. So some of them are pretty easy. Some of them are a little bit harder. You know, some students, they want to stick with the safe options. And most of these songs on the list will be going over those in the lessons videos as we go along. So don't worry too much about that. There are easier options on there. But other students, some of them, they want something more challenging. They want to like really give it a go and challenge themselves and play something on the recital that's a bit more difficult and more complex. So the recital list has all of that. Try and make everybody happy. Some students will say, well, this is too easy and I've already learned this and I want to do something new. And other students will say, hold on, I'm still working on these more basic charts. So as soon as you can start working on those, I would get those happening, and then your final should be smooth and no problem. And before the final, you'll also get a chance to do a recital rehearsal assignment where you get a chance to play your recital piece and then get some feedback from me before you do your final, which is due on on finals week, the last week of class, so last week of the semester rather. The documents you should get out for this lesson is first, how to read ukulele tabs, 5 positions of the C major scale, Au Clair de la Lune, and Drink to Me Only with Thine Eyes. Okay, let's take a look first at how to read ukulele tab. All right, which is short for this word tablature. Okay, and the way it works is on the top line here, we call this a staff. This is another staff. This whole thing here is called the staff. And this is the treble clef staff, this squiggly mark here. Some of you, if you've played piano or violin or some other instruments, you may have learned how to read this in the past, and perhaps not. We will be learning how to read this later on, but first we're going to learn the tabs, which is a little bit easier, and like I said, it's very useful for learning songs and starting to learn songs quickly. So on our ukulele, as we talked about in the last video, which is just how to hold your ukulele. So I guess you would call this lesson 2. I said it's the first instructional video, which I guess sort of it is, because we're going to learn how to actually play a song. The first one was just how to hold it, and we talked about the names of the strings and also how to tune it. So hopefully you've tuned your ukulele. Make sure you do that every time so that the notes you're playing when you're doing these lessons are going to sound the same as what I'm playing. Tune it every single time you pick up the instrument, And of course, you know, you want to have your instrument ready for these videos because I'm going to want you to play along. After you've watched the video on Edpuzzle, you can go to our YouTube channel. I'll send you the link for that, but if you just search YouTube for KCC ukulele and guitar classes, you should see our channel pop up, and you can go through that channel and watch the video again if you want to. And the benefit to that is, you know, you can slow down the playback speed if you want to, you know, play along with me at a slower speed, and you can skip to different parts of the lessons. You just have to watch it first on Edpuzzle, and that's just so that you can I can see who's done it and by what time that you've done it, and that's how you get credit for that. But if you want to watch it again, you can just go to the YouTube channel and watch it, and then you have some other options for, you know, slowing down the playback speed and whatnot. And also, yeah, skipping forward and back and replaying different sections of the lessons video. And then with each of these charts that we do, each song is going to have an example video, and those links will be included in your course materials. Those are the example videos. So when we play Au Clair de la Lune, you'll have an example of just Au Clair de la Lune, of me playing it. And I highly recommend that you use those to, first of all, to listen to the song, and then when you get good at playing it, you know, get familiar with it, you'll want to try playing along with me. All right, and let me just show you a quick example of that. Let's go to YouTube, my YouTube channel. Sorry. Like I said, all you have to do is type in KCC guitar and ukulele classes into YouTube, and you should see the channel come up. And let's take a look at Au Clair de la Lune. It's taking a while to load for some reason. Oh, that's annoying, but we'll just wait. And I'll show you real quickly how to use the example videos and how to control the playback speed. This is really important because that kind of practice, playing along with the recording, is really crucial for you to develop your sense of timing. And I gotta go one more. Oh, it's getting faster now. Au Clair de la Lune. Really crucial to developing your timing and your one, two, three, your rhythm skills. So we got, this is Au Clair de la Lune. This is the song we're gonna learn today. Okay. And we don't need to listen to the whole thing because we're gonna play it as well. Now, if you see this little gear wheel here, you can click on this, and then you have the playback speed. And you have options here, 75%, so let's try that, and now it's going to be slower. Okay, and if you go down to 50% speed, it's going to be really slow. Which you'll want to start by playing at the slower tempo and gradually building your way up. Okay, now there's some other options, which is if you click on this custom, it gives you more speed options. So you can do 80%, 85%, so you can gradually speed it up in 5 or 10% degrees. Okay, and that option, the custom speed option, is only available if you're viewing the YouTube channel on your computer, I think, or possibly one of the internet browsers, and not like the YouTube app. If you're on your iPad or iPhone, I believe you only get like the 75% and 50% speed options, and on that there's no settings gear. Instead, it's like these 3 dots, and you click on those 3 dots, and then for the options when you're using the app, and then you'll see the playback speed options there if you're on iPhone or iPad. Okay, all right, so in the previous lesson video we learned the names of the strings and how to hold it. So this string here is G. Let's play G. Ready? And then C. Let's play C. Ready? And E is next. Let's play E. Ready? And then down here on the string on the bottom is A. Let's play A. Ready? And okay, and if you tuned your ukulele correctly, then it should sound the same as what I just played. If it doesn't, you need to press pause and figure out how to tune your ukulele. That's really important. Okay, that's one of the things that I will take points off if you're turning in Flipgrid assignments and your ukulele's out of tune. Gotta tune it, especially before you record your assignments. Okay, let's do that again. G, C, E, A. Okay, and for now, let's just use our thumb. Let's get good at picking the strings with our thumb, just down, 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 down. Okay, and the sentence to remember to help you remember those strings are great chefs eat a lot. Great chefs eat a lot. G, C, E, A. So you'll never forget that. Okay, if we take a look at the tab, this is what we're learning today, this staff. We don't care too much about what's going on up here. Not yet, anyway. Okay, so the line on the bottom of the tab, this line right here, that represents your G string. The next line represents your C string. This line represents your E string. And the line on the top here represents the A string. So it's upside down in a way, because we go from top to bottom here, and the lines on the tab staff go from bottom to top. Don't ask me why that is. It just is. Somebody decided long ago. But basically, you see how the notes here, they go from low to high, and as you go up this way, the notes get higher, and the tab kind of mirrors that motion. As you go higher in number and higher on the lines, the pitch will go higher. So that's the best answer as to why it's arranged that way. Okay, so G is the bottom line, C is the next line, E is the next line, and the line on the top is our A string. Okay, so this first note here is a 0, and it's on that line for the C string, and that means we play the C string open. Okay, and we don't do anything with our left hand there. We just get out of the way and play the string open. And then the next one is also on the line for the C string, except now it's a 2, which means we have to count 1, 2 of these frets. Okay, you see these metal things on the fingerboard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So this is our first fret here, and then the second fret, and then the third fret, fourth fret, and so on. So let's go back and play this one, C string, fret 2. All right, now when you press down on a fret, remember you always want to keep your ukulele balanced on this side of your hand, not like this. And then you press down with the tip of your finger, arch your finger. See how my finger is arched? I've got the tip of my finger on the note. Press down right in the middle of the fret. You don't want to get back on this side of the fret. You also don't want to be up on top of the metal part. Be right behind it or right in the middle of the fret. And then let's play that note. Ready, and okay, you don't want to play notes this way with a flat finger. You don't want your finger to be like straightening out like this. You want it nice and arched. Okay, and let's go to the next one, E string. So we got to change strings. When it changes lines on the tab, we have to change strings. So this is E string 0, which means open. Doesn't get any easier than 0. And then E string, first fret. Okay, so just one fret, the very first one, E1. Ready, and okay, so C0, C2, E0, E1. All right, and you know, you could see numbers as high as, let's see, my ukulele has 18 frets, 12, 15, 17, 18. So 18 would be the highest on mine. Some of yours might have only 12 frets, some might have 15 frets, and that's how they go. First fret, second fret, third fret, fourth fret, fifth fret, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. And we have some dots. Everybody's got dots on their ukulele, and they should be 5, 7, 10, and 12, and you may or may not have a 15th fret. And then you have some dots here. My ukulele only has a 7th fret dot on the up here on the neck, but I think some of yours might have the dots too, and that for 5, 7, 10, and 12. And those help you mark reference points so that you don't have to count the frets like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 every single time. Okay? All right. So it's really easy. It's really easy. Don't overthink it. This is just a reference for you in case you can't you forget something or forget how to read the tabs. Okay, the only other thing here, so it says the numbers on the tablature staff are fret numbers like we just talked about. And then here it says the numbers on the treble clef staff are left-hand fingerings. So if you look up here at the notes, okay, we got a D note here and we have a number 2 next to that. And that means that when we play that note, we use our second finger. So we count the fingers this way. First finger is the index, 2 is the middle finger, 3 is the ring finger, and 4 is the pinky finger. Okay, we don't count the thumb. Sorry if you played piano before, and in piano this is finger number 1, finger number 2, but we don't do it that way with guitars and ukuleles. This is finger number 1, finger number 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and that's really helpful when they tell you which finger to use. That's very, very important. So almost everything that we do is gonna have an assigned fingering. So, and we're gonna learn like some systems for fingering, so that you don't have to worry about, well, which finger do I use? What's the best way to do it? Because I'm going to show you. And that's one thing you should pay attention to in the feedback on your Flipgrid videos. If I say, oh, you're not using the right fingers, these are the fingers that you should use, you should follow that. Don't worry about this other way feels more comfortable to me. Don't worry about that at all, okay? If you do it the way I tell you to do it and you do it repetitively, then that way will feel comfortable after some practice, okay? If I tell you don't use that finger, use this other finger, just know that I have a really good reason for that that may not be apparent to you, but would be apparent later on after you've played the ukulele for a while and figured out, well, that wasn't a very good strategy for deciding which finger to use. Okay. So that's it for that. Now we should be able to read a song. Let's do Au Clair de la Lune. This is sort of like the French version of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, little children's song, except instead of being about a star, it's about the moon. By the light of the moon is what that means. And I can never figure out whether you pronounce this loon but actually I think it's supposed to be Luna. Because when you hear the song, it goes, Au Clair de la Luna. But when people say this, they always say Au Clair de la Lune. So that confuses me a little bit. Maybe someone who speaks French could explain that to me one day. Okay, so if you forget what this means, go back to your How to Read tab document and do a little review. Okay, so remember the lines are G, C, E, A. So this is E1. So E1, let's play E1. Make sure that you place the finger on the E string and that you're also putting your thumb on the same string and then playing. Okay? If it sounds like this or it's buzzing, that means you're not pressing hard enough. So after a while, you'll figure out how hard you have to press without pressing too hard to make the note sound nice. And that's how it's supposed to sound, a nice clear tone. Okay, and we're gonna do that 3 times. Ready, and next note is E3. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, and let's use our ring finger this time. All right. So for now, let's stick to this very simple rule of fingering, which is if it's a 1, use your first finger, and if it's a 2, use your second finger, and if it's a 3, use your third finger, and if it's a 4, use your little pinky finger. Okay? So, and that keeps things simple. And also, like if I'm on 1 and I'm gonna move to 3, I can just put my ring finger down there and it kind of naturally falls on that fret. And I 1, 3, 1, 3, and I don't have to move my hand around, and I don't have to look as much. Now, when you're first starting out, you're gonna have to look this way, that way. Okay. If you want to see a little bit better, you can tilt your ukulele slightly, but don't tilt it too much. Okay, don't tilt it this much. I mean, eventually you'll want to hold it flat, like this way. The best way to look at yourself while you're playing is to use your zoom screen, and then like what I'm doing now, I'm looking at myself in the computer, or you can use the old-fashioned way is with the mirror. And then 3 on the E string, ready, and here's our next note, A0, easy, ready, and then E3, ready, E1, ready, and A0, ready, and E3, ready, and twice, and again, and then E1, ready, and okay. And then if you look at the next line, it's going to be the same thing again. Okay, I'm going slow to give you time to look and to find the note. Okay, but if you listen to the example recording, it's more like this. 4. Okay, let's play the third line. That's a different. Line 1, line 2, and line 4 are all the same exact thing. Line 3 is different, which for very simple songs like children's songs like this, it's going to be very repetitive, the same thing repeating again and again. Okay, let's do line 3. So E, string 3, 1, 2, 3, ring finger. Ready, and 4 times. Again, again, and one more time. And then here we have C2. C2, ready, and one more time. Then E3, go back to the E string, fret 3, ready, and E1, ready, and E0, ready, C2, ready, and C0, ready, and the last line is the same thing as the first line that we played. Okay, so it's kind of a whole process. So when you first get a song, you'll read through the notes slowly, one at a time, and then you want to do it again and do it again and again. Listen to the recording, see what it's supposed to sound like, try to make it sound like that, and then play along with the recording. Okay, let's talk about the rhythms. So if you look up here, hopefully at some point in your life you learned what these symbols are supposed to mean. whether you were taking music lessons or you were doing it in school, in music class. I know there's some people who have just never learned what those things mean. So the black note here, that's called a quarter note, and that gets 1 beat. So our tempo, so how fast the beat is, it could be fast or slow. Okay, whether it's fast or slow, those notes get 1 beat. So let's count it off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the next one, the half note, those get 2 beats. So the white note with the stem, that gets 2 beats each one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So quarter note is 1 beat, half note is 2 beats, and whole note here is 4 beats. So it looks like a half note, but it doesn't have a stem. And you can see that it takes up the entire measure. Okay, but even if you're not counting, you can approximate the rhythm by just knowing what notes you're supposed to hold longer. So if you're playing at this speed, you can make this one long, hold it longer, long, and then back to regular. Really long. You can take a sip of water or something, and then the next thing. The rhythm repeats. So even if you're not exactly counting it and measuring it out, you can get it really close just by making the notes that are supposed to be held longer, okay? And even if you're just reading through it the first time, you can do that at least. Okay, let's take a look at Drink to Me Only with Thine Eyes. Okay, so this song is a little bit longer, and also each measure here only has 3 beats in each measure instead of 4 beats like the other songs. So some songs have 4 beats in each measure. These are measures. You see where these lines are? Measures, or bars, they're called. And in Au Clair de la Lune, we've got 4 in each measure, but on this one only 3 in each measure. Okay, and this works the same way with the rhythm. So we've got quarter notes, half notes, and the rhythm, the new rhythm here is this note, which is a half note, and it has a dot next to it. It's called a dotted half note, and that is 3 beats. Okay, because we can't put a whole note in one of these measures because the whole note is 4 beats. So the biggest note we can have in a measure of 3 is the dotted half note. Okay, and included in your course materials is a rhythm guide. It has a list of all of these symbols and how many beats each one gets. So that's another reference you can use throughout the semester. Okay, and I'm not going to go through this whole thing. You can listen to the example video and play through this the way we did with Au Clair de la Lune. Do multiple repetitions so you can get familiar with the sequence of notes and make an attempt at playing along with the example video at a slower speed. Slow it down and play along. Okay, there is one other difference here, and that is that we have this note. It's a tied note, and when you see a note tied to another note like this, it just makes one really long note. Okay, and you'll see, most of the time you'll see a number and it has parentheses around it, and that's just a note that's held over. So this is 3 and this is 3, so it's a dotted half note tied to another dotted half note, and that makes 6. So you play this and then count 5 beats after you play it. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and the next one. So you do not play this note, you just hold it out as one long note. Okay, last thing is the scale. Okay, 5 positions of the C major scale, and this week we're just going to do position 1. Okay? The old do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Okay, so we got C0. And then C2, and then E0, ready, E1, ready, and E3, ready, and A0, ready, and A2, ready, and A3, ready, and then when we get to here, what we want to do is go back down the scale from right to left. So A2, ready, and A0, ready, and E3, ready, and E1, ready, and E0, ready, and C2, ready, and C0, ready, and okay. What position 1 means is very simply that when it's a 1, you use your first finger, and when it's a 2, you use your middle finger. When it's a 3, you use your ring finger, and when it's a 4, you use your pinky finger. That's all position 1 means, and it's very important that you follow that, because that will help you develop the ability to play and read your tabs and play your songs without having to look at your fingers so much. So when we play in a position, our fingers kind of just naturally fall on those frets, and you can develop the ability to play without looking so much, so that you can look keep looking at your music, okay? And we don't have to move our hand back and forth. That's what a position means. Okay, so when you practice this week, and I hope that you will, okay, if you don't keep up with your practice in this class, you'll get lost and fall behind, because as we go, there's a curve, and the curve is gonna be very shallow. We're gonna go step by step, but as we go, it's gonna get more and more difficult. And if you don't keep up with the practice, you're gonna find yourself in a few weeks feeling overwhelmed and feeling like the course is too difficult. Okay, so practice every day, 20 to 30 minutes per day, I recommend, okay? And when you get out your ukulele, tune it first, check your tuning. You want it to be in tune, you want to train your ear to hear the scale and the songs in tune, okay? Then, after you've tuned it, play this scale and go up and down the scale until you can go at least, at this speed. Make it sound nice. This is your primary exercise. This is how we get warmed up and exercise. Then after you've played your scale, play Au Clair de la Lune. Don't just play it once, play it again and again until you can try to play along with the example video. Okay? You can slow it down as much as you want, but just that's the goal, is to play along with the recording. And then after you've done Au Clair de la Lune, try Drink to Me, because you don't want to play the same song too much. You want some variety. Okay, Drink to Me. Okay, so have fun with that. Remember, you should enjoy this, even though things might be difficult. The process can be enjoyable, and especially when you practice and then you start getting results. That's the really enjoyable part. And that's all we have to do for this week, is just familiarize ourselves with learning to read the tabs. The only thing I want you to memorize is this position 1 scale. So the scales we learn one at a time, and we want to memorize them. Au Clair de la Lune and Drink to Me, don't have to worry about memorizing that. You just want to at some point be able to play along with the recording. Okay, and we'll have some simple flip grid assignments, maybe play the scale or play Au Clair de la Lune, something like that, just to show me that you know how to read your tabs and you're not playing it upside down or something like that. Okay, if you're playing it the right way, then it will sound right. That's one of the things. So if you're reading it upside down or something, it's just going to sound like nonsense. Okay, if you're doing it right, it will sound right, and it will sound like what the example video sounds like. Okay, so I will see you in the next video. Have a good week, and mahalo.